Welcome to Fresh Talk News Channel. Today, we dive into the latest political developments shaping Canada's future. At a rally in London, Ontario, on Friday, the crowd erupted in boos as Mark Carney delivered his core campaign message about the existential threat Canada faces from its southern neighbour. President Trump is trying to break us so that America can own us, the Liberal leader warned. Never, supporters shouted back, many waving Canadian flags taped to ice hockey sticks. Similar passion was on display earlier in the week at a Union Hall, where Pierre Poilievre greeted enthusiastic supporters in the Toronto area. The Conservative leader has drawn large crowds across the country, where "Bring it home" has become a rallying cry, not just for a change in government, but also as a wave of Canadian patriotism in the face of U.S. tariff threats. In the final hours of this 36-day campaign, Donald Trump's shadow looms large. The winner of Monday's election will likely be the party that convinces voters they have a real plan to deal with the U.S. president. National polls suggest the Liberals have maintained a narrow lead heading into the final stretch. Still, Trump isn't the only issue on voters' minds. He was mentioned only once in Poilievre's stump speech. Instead, the Conservative leader has focused on voters disaffected by what he calls a lost Liberal decade, promising change after years of a housing shortage, a sluggish economy, rising crime, and the ongoing fentanyl crisis. His message resonates with voters like Eric and Carrie Gionnet, from Barrie, Ontario. The couple, attending their first-ever political rally, expressed their concerns. "We're pretty financially secure, but I worry about them," Eric said, referring to their two daughters in their mid-20s. While he and his wife could afford a home when they were young, he said, "There's no prospect their children will be able to do the same." "I'm excited to be here," Carrie Gionnet added. "I'm hopeful." Tapping into voter frustration has helped opposition parties sweep governments from power worldwide, and Canada seemed likely to follow suit. Last year, the Conservatives held a 20-point lead over the governing Liberals. Pierre Poilievre's path to becoming the next Prime Minister seemed all but guaranteed, but then came a series of political earthquakes at the start of 2025, Justin Trudeau's resignation, Mark Carney's rise to Liberal leader and Prime Minister, and the return of Donald Trump to the White House, along with new threats and tariffs. By the time the election was called in mid-March, Carney's Liberals were polling neck and neck with the Conservatives. By early April, they had pulled slightly ahead, according to national surveys. It's been a stunning reversal of fortunes, seemingly dead and buried. The Liberals now believe they could not only win a fourth consecutive election but possibly secure a parliamentary majority. Carney has pitched himself as the man best prepared for this critical moment, a steady hand who helped guide Canada's economy through the 2008 financial crisis and steered the UK through Brexit. But not everyone is convinced. For Conservative voter Gwendolyn Slover, 69, from Summerside, Prince Edward Island, Carney's appeal is baffling. "Many people think Mark Carney is some kind of messiah," she said. "It's the same party. He's just one person. And he's not going to change anything." For Carney supporters, however, his strong resume and steady demeanor have calmed anxieties about Trump's steep tariff threats and hints that Canada should become the 51st U.S. state, though Trump has commented less frequently about Canada during the campaign. "I'm very impressed by the stability and serious thought process of Mark Carney," said Mike Brennan from Kitchener, Ontario, as he stood in line to meet Carney at a coffee shop in Cambridge. Brennan, a lifelong Liberal, had not initially planned to vote for the party this time, largely due to his dislike of Trudeau. Trudeau's departure, after growing increasingly unpopular over a decade in power, released a massive pressure valve, said Shachi Cole, president of the Angus Reid Institute. All of these angry Liberals who were parking their votes with the NDP or the Conservatives started recoalescing, she explained. Trump's renewed presence on the global stage has also drawn more disaffected Liberals and progressive voters back toward Carney's party. "The threats, the annexation talk, it's been a huge motivator for left-of-center voters," said Ms. Cole. Trump's aggressive tariff plans gave Carney, who had never before held elected office, the chance to publicly audition for the role of Prime Minister. When Trump announced new global automobile levies in late March, Carney immediately stepped into action, speaking directly with the president and meeting with U.S. cabinet ministers, while Carney had never faced the brutal pace of a federal election campaign. He performed well both on the trail and during high-stakes debates with rival leaders. Meanwhile, Pierre Poilievre, a veteran politician and polished campaigner, has struggled to find his footing. The Conservatives pivoted their message from "Canada is broken" to "Canada first," hoping to capture the shifting mood. Poilievre has had to fend off accusations of being Trump-light, given his combative style, his vows to end woke ideology, and his critiques of the global elite. "I have a completely different story from Donald Trump," he insisted. Historically, Canadians have elected either Liberal or Conservative governments, but smaller parties, such as the NDP and the Bloc Québécois, have also played significant roles. This time, both smaller parties are struggling and risk losing seats as anxious voters consolidate behind the two main parties. If both the Liberals and Conservatives each secure more than 38% of the national vote share, as polls suggest, it would be the first time since 1975 that's happened. The NDP, which helped prop up the Liberal minority government in recent years, is urging strategic voting. "You can make the difference between Mark Carney getting a super majority or sending enough new Democrats to Ottawa to fight for the things you care about," leader Jagmeet Singh said earlier this week. This campaign has also deepened regional divides. While the US-Canada relationship and trade issues have dominated the conversation, other critical topics, such as climate change, immigration, and Indigenous reconciliation, have largely been sidelined. Even when other issues are discussed, the focus has returned to Canada's economic future. Both frontrunners agree broadly on key priorities: reducing dependence on the US, developing the oil, gas, and mining sectors, protecting workers affected by tariffs, and boosting defense spending. Where they differ is on leadership, who is best equipped to move Canada forward at such a pivotal moment. "It's time for experience, not experiments," Carney told supporters in London. Meanwhile, Poilievre's closing message was clear: "We can choose change on Monday. We can take back control of our lives and build a bright future." Additional reporting by Ali Abbas Ahmadi. Thanks for watching Fresh Talk News channel. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more news and updates.